ready? I am super excited because today I am talking to the amazing Claire Jones, who originally we met when you enrolled in one of my free mindset challenges, didn't we? When was that? I was trying to think like how long ago that
I
was.
think it was December 2020.
Was it?
Yeah,
And then you, after that challenge, you signed up and did my Confident New You program, didn't you?
that's right, I did. Yes.
Before we get going in all of that lovely juicy stuff, just tell us a little bit about you and your business, just so we know a
Okay.
little bit more about you.
Yeah, okay. So, as you've said, obviously, I'm Claire Jones. My business is called Your One Life, and it's all about helping people who really struggle to stick to diets to lose weight. So it's people who have perhaps done lots of diets before and either perhaps not really got the results that they wanted, or perhaps got the results but then put the weight back on. And the reason that I did that because I had my own very personal journey and have been able to succeed in eventually keeping the weight off. And as a result of that, I realised that there was a lot of people out there that I could help. So I, over a period of time, obviously um, took a massive career change direction because I used to be a senior manager in the NHS, and then I left my job, retrained, and yeah, so here I am.
That's amazing. I've seen some of your transformations for your clients as well.
Mm.
It is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very, very, I mean, I can't tell you how pleased I am for them because I know how hard it is. We tend to hear in the news about people who have lost weight or are doing really well losing weight, but what we don't hear about is all the people that are struggling. We don't hear about them because there's a lot of guilt and shame attached to it because people think they should be able to sort it out for themselves. When in actual fact, losing weight is one of the hardest things to do.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so it's no wonder that people find it so difficult. And of course, what we don't hear about is those people who are doing really well now. Where are they in 5 years' time? And
Yeah.
that's where I can step in and help people so that they can choose the right approach and develop the right mindset so that when they do lose weight, they actually can lose it and keep it off.
It's all about mindset, isn't it? Everything in life is about mindset, isn't it?
Absolutely, it so is. Yeah, yeah.
So tell us a little bit then about where you were before we started working together.
Okay, so in relation to sort of my business and my confidence.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
things that you wanted to do but you weren't doing that
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. So, I mean, when I went into business, I have to say, hand on heart, I had no idea what I was doing from a business point of view. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't realise that that was meant I was going to have to become skilled in so many different areas other than actually just helping people. And one of those things is how do you get people to know about you? So bearing in mind that the weight loss industry is multi-billion pound, and how do I get myself heard over Weight Watchers or Slimming World or the Fast 800 or Gillian Michaels or all of the different businesses that there are out there, and also trying to get across that it's not a work with me or Weight Watchers. You can work with me and do Weight Watchers, but how do I get myself heard? And of course, that was a huge learning curve for me in that just getting noticed. And also because the client group that I work with are those people who perhaps they've lost their trust, they've lost their self-belief. How are they going to think I'm any different? What's
Mm-hmm.
going to make them know that I'm indifferent? So it quickly became clear to me that I needed to put myself out there and start talking about myself, my story, and how I can help people. But I was terrified, terrified of doing that, and yeah, so that was where I was. I think in December 2020, where I'd started my business in the March, and it was perhaps slower than I had expected it to be, because I know there's so many people out there with the need, but it's how do they choose me over anyone else, or as well as anyone else.
But when
So
you put yourself out there, How did you want to put yourself out there? Was it through videos or podcasts or blogs, or what was it that you wanted to do, but you were like, I'm just terrified?
Well, I mean, it was part of that learning curve. So to start with, it was just social media posts. So like, just making a nice graphic on Canva and putting it out there and hoping that someone might like or comment on it. And of course, people didn't really, because they weren't showing up on people's news feeds. So then, everyone say, you've got to do video, you've got to do video, you've got to, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to do video. I hate the sound of my own voice. I can't bear to see myself on camera. No, I'm not doing it. If this means, but then I kind of thought, I've got to get over myself, because people are not going to know about me, and I can't help them if they don't know about me. So I've got to get over myself.
And what was it? Because I had a massive fear of video, so I totally sympathise, and I don't think we're alone. There's so many people out there who, don't like the sound of their own voice and looking at themselves, just as you mentioned there. That was my fear as well. But what was some of the other things going through your mind, when you thought about, I'm going to have to do a video? What was that kind of internal chatter, that internal critic telling you?
No one's going to want to watch it, and everyone's going to think I'm talking nonsense. And who am I coming into this massively well-established industry with, no experience, but, very little experience in working in this field. So it was all very negative. I'm lacking. I wasn't able to see all the good stuff. I wasn't able to see what I was bringing that would make people want to listen to me and watch my videos or whatever. And also I didn't know how to do them. I didn't have the technical know-how, and the technology that's out there. You're getting bombarded by, you've got to do reels, you've got to do stories, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and you've got to do podcasts, and you've got to do videos, and you've got to interview people, and no. Yeah. That was where I was at. So I can't do that. I don't want to do that. It's not me. It's how can I do that? I can't.
So how would you say that? Because when I look at you now versus when we first started working together, I mean, it's unrecognisable, isn't it? The things that you're doing now, with your PR stuff, and you're always showing up on video. I always see you. You're always visible. What do you think it was that, about working together or during that period? What was it that allowed you to go from being terrified and not doing it to now being everywhere and loving it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely building blocks. And I think, first of all, it was being really, obviously you were very good at getting out of me what the blocks were. And, one of them clearly was kind of, lack of confidence was all over it. And also, being able to sort of, in the same way that I work with my weight loss clients, in helping them to separate out their feelings from their behaviour and understand what's driving their behaviour, it was translating that. You helped me to translate that into my own lack of confidence and self-belief in my ability to do the videos, in the same way that I help people to overcome their lack of confidence and self-belief in being able to lose weight. And it was I think one of the things that I really liked about working with you is that we were very much on the same page around what methods we use. But it's easy to be objective when you're looking and helping somebody else. It's not so easy to be objective when you're in it and it's your own. And it was, you saying things to me, and I'm like, oh my God, yes. That's exactly what's going on for me. And where is all this evidence that I'm no good at what I'm doing? Where is all this evidence that I haven't got a story to tell? Where is all this evidence that people are not going to want to listen to what I have to say? And it was helping me to turn that around and being able to see, well, actually, I've got decades of personal experience in this field. I've got decades of management experience at a senior level. I've done all my training to be able to help people with weight loss. So, I've got that from a professional point of view, as well as all my professional experience and qualifications from my previous roles. And being able to find, and looking at the testimonials of all of the people that I've worked with and what they say about how I've helped them, and knowing how to use that information when it mattered. So like, you know, if I'm feeling a bit, oh crikey, I really don't feel like going on live, you know, look at a few testimonials. Yes, fire myself up. You know, yes, I'm good at this. Yes, people do want to listen. Just read those comments about the last video that I put up.
Exactly. And one of the things you did was, when we were working together, was produce what we called a success folder, wasn't it? And as you say, with testimonials and all this great stuff and all this transformation that you created.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how something so simple gives you that just injection of confidence when you need it, doesn't it? Like you say, just read a testimonial, like, do you know what? I'm pretty good at this. I'm actually awesome at this. Yeah. And then you just go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was, and of course, you know, then working from, you know, it was sort of like building up from really small steps as well that was really helpful. So it wasn't like, right, Claire, you got to go from where you are now to approaching journalists and doing PR.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, so what's the overall goal? Where do you want to be, like, in the next few weeks? Where do you want to be, you know, a little bit down the road? And then where do you want to be, sort of, you know, what's your kind of goal for by the time we've kind of got to the end of where we are? And I said to you, I do remember saying to you, I know I need to do PR. I know I need to do PR, but I'm scared and I don't know if I can do it. And so we worked towards that, but we did it through just really small incremental steps of just, you know, getting me into the habit of doing live Facebook videos, like not every day, but we set a target, didn't we, with some sort of small milestones along the way, and how I could sort of reward myself by, you know, with achieving those things. And, you know, then it wasn't just the reward of what I was rewarding myself, it was seeing the results of going live in my Facebook group and seeing how people reacted to that, and me realizing actually that's what they need. They need me to be coming in and talking to them. They need me to be showing them who I am and how I can help them, and giving them you know, support in the particular issues that they're facing. So I started a little program. I've had to kind of put it on hold at the moment because I've got chronic laryngitis, so I can't talk for very long or too often at the moment. So because I've been talking too much, Helen, that's what it is. So I was doing this, like, in my group every.
You give yourself laryngitis.
Yeah, exactly. So I was doing these you know, I'd do a poll in my Facebook group and say, right, okay, so there's 3 choices here of what I'm going to talk to you about next week. Which one do you want me to talk about? And then the one that with the most votes, I would then go away and write a blog, and then the following week I'd do a live talking through that blog on a particular topic that would help people. So there's not really much recent stuff in there at the moment because I've been, since December, I've been struggling with this issue. But I mean, they're all in there in the archive, and I put them on YouTube as well, so people can still watch them because they're still just as relevant now as they were when I did them a few months ago.
I think one of the biggest transformations that I saw through that period was your mindset and your thinking totally flipped by removing those blocks and all of that inner critic and that, you know, those mindset gremlins. Because you were able to get rid of them and work on them, you changed from it being all about you and, oh, I'm scared and, oh, I can't do this, to really focusing on your clients, just as you do when you're working with them with your programs, but from a marketing and promotional perspective, and going, they need me. They need this stuff. This stuff is going to transform their lives because it's transformed mine. So it's almost like doing them a disservice by allowing my ego and my fear to take over and me hide away. And that was a real shift. You were like, you know, I've got to do this. It's my duty to go and do this.
Yeah, that was it. It was that realization that, yes, I've got something really special here that I've been able to achieve when for many years I couldn't do it. And it was what changed for me, and being able to help people to translate that into how it will help them. You know, I don't say, I did it this way, so you've got to do it the same way as I did. It's all about developing the right sort of mental muscles, if you like, to be able to stick to whatever it is that you've chosen, but also making sure that what you've chosen is right for you. So it's if I keep that all in for myself, then, like you say, I'm doing a disservice. I've got, you know, you think about obesity, you know, and the damage it's doing to people's health, and that's the number one kind of angle that I come at it from, is it's all about health, because if we are carrying extra weight, you know, there is no denying the statistics that being overweight, and obviously the more overweight, the more it is a risk to our health. And I experienced that personally. I tried to do the London Marathon in 2009. In fact, I did do the London Marathon. The medal's up here somewhere. Where is it? No, can't see it. Oh, here
There's
it is.
so many there.
Here it is. Is that one?
Wondrous.
2009. So I finished it in 7 hours, 1 minute, 35 seconds. I had to walk the entire second half because I absolutely ruined my hips doing it, because I'd done all the training and the marathon with carrying too much weight. So it got to the point where, you know, if I want to carry on running, I've got to get rid of the weight and I've got to keep it off if I want to keep running. And look, I did keep running, as you can see.
Wow.
But, you know, that was a real message to me about how important it was to not be overweight. And, you know, if this is what's happening to me when I was, I mean, that was 2009, when I was, 36. Where would I be in another 10, 20, 30 years if I didn't do something about it? And
I think that's a really good analogy. When we spoke about this when we were working together about, you know, preparing for a marathon, actually this mental muscle, we forget that our mind is a muscle and we have to work it. We have to exercise it.
We do.
Otherwise, the mindset gremlins take over and fear takes over, and we don't do the things that we want to do. So what are you, I mean, I've seen this firsthand where you are now, and I'm like a proud mum. I'm just like, this is amazing. But just tell everybody what you are doing now that you weren't doing before. Now that you feel confident.
I'm doing PR.
Yay!
And I had an article all about my story in the Daily Express just 3 weeks ago, and another one that went kind of all over the place last week about me and my tarantulas. So it's just every opportunity that I'm getting now, I'm approaching journalists. I'm in a PR program. Is it okay to name drop?
Of course it is, yeah. Name drop today.
I'm in a PR program with a lovely lady called Nicola Rowley, and she's basically coaching me and others in her program to get more media confident and learn the ins and outs of how to approach journalists in the best way, so that they are going to obviously want to work with us, and because all, you know, at the end of the day they're looking for interesting, inspiring stories, and I have a very interesting and inspiring story, and if I don't tell it, then I'm not going to be able to get people to know who I am and what I do and how I can help them. And it's unfortunately, you know, I have to talk about me in order to be able to get to that point, because it's my story that is what will get people to read. And what I'm hoping is that, you know, through that, people will see that if I could do it, so can they.
And that takes confidence and courage, doesn't it, to be so vulnerable and share your story, because you are really open about it and tell everybody, you know, the struggles and what you've been through. And I think to do that on such a, you know, a national level in national newspapers, that's amazing. I mean, that is fantastic. What would you say, you know, the impacts of just having that confidence and having that self-belief and doing all of these things, you know, putting yourself out there and doing the PR and the videos and all the promotional stuff, what impact has that had on your business growth and the money you make and how happy and fulfilled you are?
It's been amazing. I mean, I'm still obviously, you know, on the journey, and for me, I'm lucky in that I've got a part-time job, so that kind of pays my bills. So what I've been really keen to do is any money I earn, I'm investing back into the business so I can grow my business, so I can afford to pay for things like doing a PR program, so that I can get out there and reach and help more people. And I even wrote a book.
You wrote a book. This is just amazing.
Yeah, and it was just like a really simple guide, because I wanted to have something I could give people for those, because the problem is, obviously, when I started work, it was all about working one-to-one, and, you know, the problem with that is that many people can't afford to work one-to-one, and perhaps don't understand the value of working one-to-one when it comes to weight loss either, because I think we're very conditioned to think, oh, we should be able to sort it out for ourselves, or we just go to Weight Watchers or Slimming World and just spend, you know, £5 a week. Whereas actually what we need to do is really invest in ourselves. But I realised that helping, or for people to make the leap from where they are now to think, yeah, I need one-to-one coaching is a huge leap. And I wanted to be able to offer other things. Yeah. So I wrote a book which is just sort of, simple, practical ways of how to eat less without trying to diet, because not everybody wants to do yet another diet. But equally, it's really helpful for anyone who just wants to get a bit of a better handle on portion sizes and without kind of thinking too deeply about stuff. Then if they want to do my program, if they want to sort of get into the sort of like the nuts and bolts of it all. So being able to put all of those things out there, I've had to invest in myself and my business to be able to do all of those things so that I can reach and help more people, because it is all about, the more I can have me and my brand recognised, the more people are likely to refer to me or recommend me to others, which means that again, it will just grow and people will get the help they need, so that they think, right, I'm going to go to Weight Watchers or Slimming World or any other program, but I know how to do it properly this time. So I'm not going to be wasting my time and money, and I know I'm going to be able to keep the weight off. Obviously I can't promise anything, but what I do say is that if you follow my methods, then you're giving yourself the best possible chance of, but you've got to follow the stuff. Like you say, it's about working those mindset muscles. I say to people regularly, you don't go into a gym and expect to walk out with a six-pack on your first visit. You've got to work at it for years, And
would you say it's impacted, your happiness?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, for many years, well, for up until the light bulb went on, of me realising that this is what I needed to do, which was like 3 years ago. Well, 4 years ago in June, when my father passed away, because it was when he passed away that's when I did a massive, obviously, reflection on what are the important things in life. Yeah. And I realised, and I always knew throughout my career, although I enjoyed my work and I really was good at it, I never really felt like I'd found what it was I was supposed to do. Yeah. And then, of course, all of the tough times I went through, because we've all got, a whole patchwork of things that we go through that make us who we are. I realised it was like, it's bringing everything together, because, I've had difficulties with, relationships, with money, with health, with commuting long hours, and struggling as a single parent, and bringing up children, all of those things, and obviously my own very personal journey with my weight. And I also used to smoke, and I realised that not being sort of fulfilled in my career, when that light bulb went on, I suddenly realised all of that experience in every area of my life has come together to make this my destiny. And I know that sounds a bit cliche, but that's genuinely how I feel about it, is that this is actually what I'm here for. All that experience I went through was worth it, because now I can pay it forward to help others to resolve their issues, and recognise that there are other ways of dealing with problems that don't necessarily have to involve eating a lot like I used to. That was my way of dealing with stuff, is just eat. That's what many people do, and it's learning how to move away from that.
And what would you say the best thing about the programme was?
That's hard to answer, because there were so many, but I think it's being challenged. Being challenged, because there were times when I would come to you and say, Helen, I don't want to talk about this tonight. And you were very good at being able to recognise when I needed to be challenged, and also when it was important to not challenge me. Being able to kind of know when I was perhaps making excuses, versus when to not do something, versus when actually it was genuinely a good reason why I couldn't. like the time when my dog, who's lying down here beside me, I think it was when we first started working together, and she suddenly became a medical emergency, and so it just wasn't the right time to be sort of pressing me on, okay, so come on. Whereas there were other times when you knew and I knew too that I was just making excuses, and you saw through it and challenged me, and I needed that challenge. It was about getting out of my own way, and yeah, so I did. Here I am, having got out of my own way.
Well, I am thrilled to see how far you have come, and you've come so far since we stopped working together, haven't you? Since the program ended, and you've just continued to keep growing. So I'm so excited to see like what's next, like where the next few years take you. It's going to be fantastic. Where can we find more about you and your book and your programs? Where do we go?
Okay, so everything's on my website, www.youronelife.co.uk. But I also have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, although I don't really do much on Twitter. It's mainly Facebook and Instagram, and that's the @YourOneLifeUK is my handle. And
it looks like we've got an exciting year to look forward to, and I cannot wait. Claire, thank you so much for your time today. And let's see what the future holds.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And thank you again, Helen. Couldn't have done without you.
You're welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Take care. Bye.
Bye.